This is 2023's beautiful disaster. Warning, spoilers ahead. We open up in Las Vegas, and Abby is riding the bus as she writes an apology letter to her dad. In it, she says that she's done bailing her dad out of all of his problems, and she needs a fresh start for herself. It turns out that her father raised her to be a professional poker player, but she dreams of going to college with normal young people, though. Eventually, she makes her way to the college, where she's greeted by her friend America. America takes Abby up to their dorm room, and Abby gets the rundown on what life is like in the dorm with the co-ed neighbors. America also tells Abby about her new boyfriend, Shepley, and Abby is amazed to find that he's not America's normal type. Abby is a Las Vegas professional poker player turned good girl, and she's really taking that role to heart. America is trying to tell her that her new dream boy wants to take both of them out for a really nice dinner, but Abby is already dedicating her free nights to studying. She hasn't even started classes yet! That night, Shepley takes the girls to an underground club where his friend works, and he tells them to never talk about the Circle. The Circle is an underground fight club, and Adam goes to the center to introduce the fighters for the night. Abby isn't really happy about being there, but when Travis is called to the Circle, she bumps into him and changes her mind. It's almost like love at first sight, kind of, but with a sweaty, tattooed, half-naked guy bumping into her. Abby decides to stay and watch Travis fight now, and even though Travis is the returning champion, he seems to be losing a step with Abby being there. He even tries to take a break in the middle of the fight to talk to her. After knocking out his opponent, Travis takes a good look in Abby's direction, and he gets his hand raised in the end. Abby goes to leave, but she gets pushed right into Travis's arms. Only Abby would end up getting blood thrown on her and pushed into someone like Travis and have a complete change of heart about the scene. What happened to the good college student? That persona is definitely not taking a shower later, as she actually imagines taking one with him. In the morning, Abby is amazed that she's dreaming of him, but she pulls out wads of cash out of her mattress to pay for tuition. She's told that she has to find a more accountable way to pay for the next semester, though, and now she's worried about staying in college. She goes to eat with America and Shepley, and she finds out that Travis is his roommate as he walks up on them. Abby tries to act like she's not interested in Travis, but while she's in class later, Travis sneaks in behind her and catches her creeping on his social media pictures. Travis tries to ask her out on a date, but Abby tells him that he's what's wrong with the male population. Travis isn't taking no for an answer, though, and he tells her that he's picking her up at 8. Her hard-to-get attitude doesn't deter Travis from showing up that night, and he takes her out for a burrito and a walk in the park as they talk. In Travis's defense, Abby never even gave him half a chance to talk at all, so she just profiled him, and she literally keeps easing up as he tells her more about himself. She still cuts the date short, though, and calls for a campus Uber, essentially. Abby's morning doesn't go much better, though, as she hits a guy in his Johnson with a frisbee while running. Fantastic way to start anyone's day. This is Parker, and apparently this is more Abby's type. Later, Abby goes to take a shower, but just as she soaps up, the water gets shut off. After finding out that the water is going to be off for at least a day or two, she pops over to stay with America in Shepley's apartment, but she's really not okay with it when she finds out that Travis lives there too. That night, Abby studies while listening to a voicemail from her dad, but she's interrupted when she hears a woman moaning in the other room. She goes to see what's going on, and she finds Travis getting it on with another woman. Abby slams the door shut and goes back to studying. Yes, because trying to act like you didn't just see anything is shown by slamming doors and running down the hall. After the girl leaves, Abby is upset to see that Travis isn't keeping the girl's number, and she thinks he's a horrible man. He then proceeds to let her sleep in his bed for the night and promises that nothing will happen between them. Of course, Abby goes through his condom drawer and watches him get dressed, though, and it's safe to say that she's definitely more than intrigued. In the morning, Travis wakes up to Abby playing with his alert member, and after raging at Travis for a moment, she realizes that she's going to be late for her bio exam. She rushes across campus in her pajamas, but she manages to pass her test. Judging by how surprised she was about that morning, I'd wager that bio didn't teach her about morning wood, though. After the exam, Abby runs into Parker, who's lucky to be walking after the way she hid his jewels, and he asks her out to dinner that night. Travis notices the two of them, and he tries to warn her not to take the date. She does anyway, and she heads back to the dorm to get ready for her fancy dinner date. After dinner, Parker gets a call about having to go to a show, and he takes Abby with him. Meanwhile, in the same building, Shepley and Travis are getting ready for a fight, but Travis is distracted when he realizes that Abby hasn't texted back. Abby is amazed to find that she's back at another circle event, and she rushes out to find Travis furious that she hasn't texted him. Abby keeps trying to tell him that she's not interested in him, but Travis decides to make an interesting bet with her. If his next opponent lands a hit on him, he'll go without sleeping with anyone for 3 months. But if he wins without getting hit, Abby has to stay with him for a whole month. Abby tries to act like she's not interested, but if she really wasn't, she never would have taken this bet. Obviously, she does. Otherwise, this wouldn't be much of a movie, would it? Better yet, Parker is actually a huge Travis fan. Of course, Travis wins without getting hit, and after the fight, Abby has to explain things to Parker in the car. Abby tries to keep things going, but Parker is really intimidated by Travis. When they get to Travis's room, Abby lays down some pretty basic yet hefty ground rules, and as time passes, they seem to get rather comfortable around one another. In fact, all 4 of the friends seem to be like 2 whole couples in time. After a while, Travis decides to take Abby with him to meet his family for dinner, and she's excited to meet his brothers and parents. The brothers start off with their usual tomfoolery, and Abby is happy to meet everyone as they eat KFC for dinner. Suddenly, Abby separates herself from the table as the family plays poker together, but eventually, Abby wants to show her stuff. I don't know too many people who keep up with poker professionally as fans, but it just so happens that Travis's dad knows all about Abby's dad and her history in Vegas. What are the chances of that? In the end, the brothers start fangirling over the fact that Abby beat them in their own house, and Abby seems pretty okay with it. That's progress. Back at the apartment, Travis and Abby are nearing the end of their month together as they have fun together around day 25, and Travis even trains and works out with Abby in the park. One night, Abby gets messages from her dad who says that she's worried about her, and she manages to send him a simple text. Just then, Travis comes in after his shower, and he gets excited when he manages to get a snort out of Abby. Naturally, this turns into a wrestling match, and this turns into, well, you know where it goes from here. Or does it? When Abby finally gets a handful and realizes what she's doing, she throws Travis off the bed, and I think that this is the point of no return. Travis is furious because he thinks that Abby is... Oh, who are they kidding? They even stop halfway through the argument and get back to business. Damn it! Then she stops to go to the bathroom and pulls America in to talk with her about the situation. Meanwhile, Travis is practicing his pickup lines, but of course something has to ruin things. He sees the message from her dad, but she has him in her contact list as his real name. No! Get back in there and do it! Just as Abby is pretty much ready to go back in with Travis, she hears him stomp out of the apartment, and he doesn't come back until the morning. In fact, he comes back rather intoxicated and holding the neighbor's cat. He starts acting jealous when he sees Abby and tries to throw the message in her face, but when she explains that Mick is actually her father, he feels like a real jerk. It seems to be too late to apologize, though, as Abby thinks that him invading her privacy is who he really is through and through. Abby goes to the library where she ends up napping since she was up all night worrying about Travis, and of course, Parker shows up and watches her sleep. The two of them end up spending the day and half the night together in the library catching up, and they end up going to a fraternity where Abby is surprised by a birthday party where Shepley welcomes her. Tell me Travis isn't invited, though. Never mind. America pops up for 2 seconds, and it turns out that this was all Travis's idea. I'd say this is a good way to start apologizing. Kind of. Abby says her piece to Travis, and after realizing that she is still upset with him and is there with Parker, he leaves her to enjoy her party. In fact, Abby ends up really enjoying her party as she proceeds to drink everything in sight. Eventually, Abby finds a poker table, and America has to pull her back to the dance floor to keep her from joining them. Of course, with alcohol comes drama, and America and Shepley end up breaking up after talking about whether they do or don't want kids, but their breakup only lasts about 10 minutes before they're back in each other's arms. Just then, Parker decides that he's had enough of this, and when he goes to leave, Abby tries showing off for him. Parker knows that she really needs to be with Travis, though, and he makes his opinions very clear. As he leaves, Abby goes to drink more, but Travis pops up and tells her that she's had way too much alcohol. Abby finally opens up to Travis about how she really feels after Travis has to chase her outside, and she proceeds to throw up in his face after kissing him. I don't have a sympathetic gag reflex, but that actually made me a little sick. If they stand there and let you throw up in their face and they still tell you that they love you, they really mean it. Travis gets Abby back to the apartment where he helps her out in the bathroom, and he helps her get some water and into bed. Abby manages to call her dad to tell him that she loves him first, though. In the morning, or actually it's 1 in the afternoon, a sensual foot massage turns into a sensual calf massage, which turns into a sensual everywhere massage. They finally end up doing it all day long, and Travis falls asleep with Abby in his arms. In the morning, Abby heads out, and she's approached by a creepy man named Vince who says that her dad owes his boss money and will have his legs broken if she doesn't come with him. Abby gets taken back to Las Vegas, and Travis is freaking out at the dorm after realizing that she's gone. America comes over, and she tracks Abby's location to Vegas as Travis takes her phone and heads there himself. Between Abby's poker skills and Travis's fight prowess, I'd say the two of them could take Vegas by storm. Abby is reluctant at first, but her mood quickly changes when the kingpin threatens to snip her father's fingers off. Abby gets to work at the poker tables to pay off her father's $100,000 debt by the end of the night, and she manages to win it in a very short amount of time. Sadly, she gets noticed by an old friend that recognized her from the old days, but she's hoping to stay under the radar since she's underage and doesn't want to drop out of college. He ends up taking the chips from her as a way to keep her from getting into trouble, and Abby calls her dad to tell him to get out of town since she can't get the money. Abby goes to the boss to tell him about the unfortunate event, and when he tries to give her another option to play poker for him, Travis bursts in and beats up all of the security. Abby runs out of the club, and Travis follows her to the hotel room where he admits that he loves her. Of course, this leads to some more messing around, but they literally end up trashing the entire hotel room and get noise complaints from the neighbors before they even start. There's a fire alarm and broken sinks. This is just some next-level freaky stuff. Later, Abby rests in bed, and Travis listens to a voicemail from the boss where he learns that Mick owes him $100,000 and he's holding Abby responsible. Travis decides to take things into his own hands when he sees an advertisement for a fight tournament, and when Abby wakes up, she finds a video from Travis who explains the deal he set up for Benny. When Abby heads to the parking garage, she finds that Mick has been playing her this whole time, and he took the chips that she lost from her friend to run away with some money. In fact, he even knew that he was leaving her to deal with Benny on her own, and Abby thinks back to all the moments that led to him finding her to settle his debt. I couldn't have been the only one who was hoping for a nice redemption story. I was really hoping that Mick wasn't a total piece of crap, but it turns out that he doesn't even owe the boss any money, and this was all a way to get a new player on his roster. I hope Travis wins the whole thing and walks away with the money to be with Abby. Abby tases her old friend and Mick before driving off with the money to get Travis before the fight, and she pulls up just as he steps in the ring. She tries to get in, but the bouncer won't let her cut the line. Meanwhile, Travis is facing his new opponent. This dude is named Chernobyl, and he looks as though he just crawled out of the actual location to fight Travis. The dude is a freaking beast, and he's got outside support with chains. This isn't even backyard MMA anymore. This is a prison fight club. Shepley tries to hop into the ring to help, but he's basically useless. Meanwhile, another audience member throws a drink to the side and starts an electrical fire. Just as Chernobyl is ready to choke out Travis, Abby shows up and hits him in the back of the head. Luckily for everyone involved, the fire spreads in time to stop everything, and Abby and Travis head to the hotel while Shepley goes to the hospital. Abby finally admits her love for Travis, and in the morning, Shepley rides around on Travis's bike as Abby and Travis discover all the money that Mick was going to run away with. The two of them kiss one more time, and then the credits roll as we see that the two of them had a crazy Vegas wedding night after that. For a cheesy rom-com, I actually enjoyed this one more than most lately. Awesome cast with a much better flow about it, all while having an actual story in it. Give it a shot. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.